Hello, Fiends, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Get Spooky. I'm Vamp.
I'm AJ.
And today we have a very exciting topic.
Yep.
You brought this up a while back ago, and I'm not really sure why we never got to it, because it's real good.
Yeah. This was one of my favorite ones, I think.
We are calling it Deadly Toys, but we're basically taking a trip down memory lane, and also not necessarily our memories, way before our memories, to talk about all of the deadly toys and how we're even alive at this point, because shit was wild.
Like the things that they would market as toys, and you're like, how is this safe?
That's a projectile.
Yeah, that's a projectile.
That's
a literal teeny
it.
tiny oven. There's so much stuff where you're just like, what? Okay.
Well, and I think we lived, we're not that old, but even when we were young kids, it was a completely different time than it is now. Mm-hmm. When I was younger, we would wake up on the weekends, we'd have our cereal, we'd watch cartoons, and then we'd get on our bikes and we would leave. And granted, we were children. We were 10, 11, 12 years old, and that was completely normal. Like, my mom would be like, okay, bye, have fun, see you later.
Be back when the street lights go on.
Or when the sun goes down, and sometimes in the summer when the sun went down, it was like 8:30 p.m.
Yeah, and you're just out living your best life, walking the streets, who knows what's going on.
And you were trusted. Nowadays, trust no one.
Yeah,
that does not happen. The things, honestly, when we talk about these stories, I'm like, I 100% don't know how we're alive. How most people survived childhood with things like lawn darts and other various trampolines. So we essentially have a long list of, and wasn't it like the top 20 most deadly toys of all time?
Yeah.
And I think this was starting back in like the 60s. So there's some things, or actually technically
50s.
The 50s.
Yeah.
So from the 50s until, I would say, present time, but none of these toys are really like present because
hoverboards weren't that long ago.
Oh, I guess, yeah, within the last decade.
Yeah.
And just how, who was the boss who was like, stamp and seal of approval, make tens of thousands of these and put them into the world and give them to children.
A little asbestos in this little toy. That's
a little
fine.
uranium.
Yeah,
that's okay.
Some uranium, things that children should play with.
It helps them build up the immune system, so later on in life,
it makes them stronger.
It makes them radioactive, and they can survive anything after that. So I think it'll be fun to go through this list, and then we can say some of the things that we had. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of them are too old. They're a little too old for our time.
Yeah. But let's do movies.
Oh, yes. Yeah, sorry, I got excited.
We always like to start the episode with, just some movies that are kind of related to the topic that we're talking about to kind of get you in the mood of dangerous toys. One of the newest of what I think is one of our favorites is, of course, Megan. Yes, she is a very dangerous toy. The Annabelle movie. Oh, she's so cute. She's so great.
Would you have a Megan?
Yes.
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 Absolutely, yes.
Yeah, we recently had a poll that was like, would you rather have Chucky or Megan? And I was very surprised by the amount of people that chose Chucky over Megan.
Me too.
Just because Chucky attacks you.
Yes.
Megan attacks the people you don't like.
Megan is on your team.
She's there for you.
Yes. And I honestly don't think that people thought of it that way. They were just like,
who's the coolest?
Who's cool? I know Chucky. Megan's new. Do I really like her that much? She's fresh. So I don't think that people are thinking about it that way.
They didn't put that extra thought that...
No.
So, I always put way too much thought into things like that.
Let's get the toy that's going to kill us. Yeah. I'm going to say hard pass.
Yeah.
So I voted Megan.
I voted Megan. Going to be on my side and mess with people that I don't like.
Yep.
Annabelle.
Great.
Another, she's a little evil. Child's Play, which I brought another a little show and tell of Child's Play 2, signed by Andy. He wrote Chucky Did It, which I just think is so great. Obviously, we're a big fan of that series and all the movies and shows.
Yes.
Puppet Master, also very good. Little puppets coming to life and stabbing people with their little teeny tiny knives, which you don't think would do much, but it does quite a bit.
And it's traumatizing.
Yeah.
Most of these are like doll related, and think about being a kid and watching.
Oh yeah, especially because you have a closet full of these types of things and you're like, okay, which one of you is coming to life
Yeah.
and killing me?
All of them. One that I don't think is on either of our lists is Poltergeist, and I say because of the clown.
Yep.
I know I've told my clown story a million times of my mom getting me a creepy clown because she thought it was cute, but I was really afraid of clowns for a very long time just because of that scene in that movie. And the movie is not about the clown. It's about so much more, but I was so hyper fixated on that
one
murdery
thing,
clown. Yep.
Last one, Attack of the Puppet People, which came out in 1958. It's a really cool movie. They basically this lonely and deranged puppet master designs a machine that shrinks people down. So like most of the movie is like of actors that are playing like teeny tiny little things, and the sets are so cool because like there's a scene where they're using like a pomade like jar to like bathe in, and it looks like real.
Legit.
Like whoever made these sets, like it's so cool. Like they're changing in like little like doll like things, and that's a really fun movie.
The good old days of good practical effects. There's another one, and I believe it was in the late 60s or 70s. It's called Dolls, and it was one of those ones that we're like flipping through. I think we saw it on Amazon, and you know when it's like 2 a.m, you can't sleep, and you're like, let me just find some garbage horror movie, and it was fantastic. So I would definitely recommend checking that one out. So there's plenty of Nightmare Fuel toy related. Most of it I feel like is doll related, but I feel like that was just an easier common toy that everyone had
that can actually like do things to like,
because murdery dolls are again traumatic, but we love them. So
on to dangerous toys.
We're gonna start off earlier. I was like, we can remove this one from the list,
and I'm like no, we need to talk about it.
Aqua Dots.
So there, I think of it so because I know, like, I feel like I brought this up. People were like, "What is that?" So they have like those little plastic beads that you like put on a little. It was
like a pegboard,
like a little pegboard, and then you would iron it, and then you would have a little flat design or whatever you made. They look like little 8-bit images.
This is like keychains, and stuff like that.
You can do a ton of stuff with them. This is similar to that, but instead of ironing it, you spray it with water. And then it like molds together, and you're like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Problem is, so the manufacturer decided instead of using this one chemical on it, that is basically the thing that like the bonding agent. They had two options: the non-toxic one, that's more expensive, 3 to 7 more times more expensive, or the toxic one and save money. They chose the toxic one. So naturally. And it's children. They put everything in their mouths. So when they ate them, when it got digested, it made the chemical GHB, which is similar to a date rape drug. So children
were getting roofied on Aqua Dots.
On them, eating them. 1 2-year-old ate an unknown number of Aqua Dots and immediately fell asleep for 6 hours. And the mom is like, what is going on? Like, is it the time change? Is he very tired? Like, what is going on?
Too much turkey, he's sleepy, it's fine.
Middle of the day. Something normal. And then she found out about the recall and was like, oh no, that's why. But
and also this was in 2007.
Yeah.
So this isn't like it was in the 60s and they're like, oh, we didn't know any better. Like this was recent enough for them to know kids put shit in their mouths and this is roofies.
Yeah. Like what? They recalled it and then they re-released it under a different name, and on the box it says safety tested. So
not
they
roofied.
Must be using.
They recalled 4.2 million kits. 4.2 million. That's a lot of drug to little kids.
That's a lot of.
I never had Aqua Dots. I don't.
Yeah, I don't
remember it. I feel like maybe I was just too old at that point to want a toy like that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Next one, and this one is shocking but also not shocking because this was in the 1950s, or in 1950 was its original release, and it was called the Atomic Lab Kit, and it was essentially like a science kit. So you would learn about science. You could mix things together to have a reaction, like what you did in science class. You know, like the volcano, and you put gas things together and they created a gas.
Yeah, you know, like normal things, a Geiger counter, a cloud chamber, and real uranium.
Yep, it had uranium ore. So basically, it was fun radioactivity for the whole family. And I don't know. The thing is when you looked at it, it looked, whatever it was contained into like the vials. There was like 4 vials that had this uranium ore material in them. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay, sure. It's in a glass sealed container. But then you read further and it was like, no, it was a science kit, meaning things were mixed together.
Oh yeah, you're doing stuff. I don't know, it's like Breaking Bad.
Mixing.
In real life.
And yeah, so it was like the little cute scientist kit. Your kid was interested in science, let's get him a toy. And at the time, I think it was I read another article and I think it was around like $40 or $50, which at now time would be like over $500. So it wasn't a cheap thing. So you're paying a lot of money to have some radioactive toys in your home. And it's not like it was just contained to touching, it was releasing stuff. So it's in the air.
Yeah.
You know.
Who knows what you're making. Yeah,
so they were like, oopsie daisy, probably not smart. We're giving people cancer. We should not make this anymore. But it said it was released in 1950, and it says it was a 60s chemistry kit. So the original one, I don't know if it changed throughout time, but that's a long ass time for them to be like, maybe it's time to pull the plug.
Be like, yeah, that's science. Fine. Keep playing with uranium, kid.
Yeah. So,
that's where the Hillside Eyes kids came from.
Yeah. That's why all those kids have like a third eye and stuff.
Yep. All in the name of science.
Science.
So, I mean, I'm all for education and toys, but maybe not
that much.
And also when I was doing research for this episode, so we both came across this list and we're like, hell yeah, this is good stuff. And then as you're searching, so as I would search, I'd be like, when was this item initially released? The eBay listings would come up of people still selling them. So if you really are wanting to live on the edge and you want one, they're still out there. I would just say don't mix anything together. Like keep it in the sealed container maybe, or just don't buy it. Probably that. Next one. So there's a couple, I feel like this one, the magnet situation. We could go on forever, but there's a couple toys that were magnetic toys. Yeah. And at first I was like, magnets, what's the big deal?
Magnets, how do they work?
But kids are going to obviously put anything in their mouths and try to eat it. That's just a known thing. It's part of childhood. You ate shit you weren't supposed to. You shoved it up your nose.
I don't feel like I ate things, but I don't know.
I feel like I don't know if it was me or my brothers, someone when they were small put peas up their nose and had to go to the emergency room because they got up there too far. But I don't know that any of us ever ate anything. Like no one put Legos in their mouths or like that I could remember, or that anyone found out about. Maybe you did and you pooped it out and no one ever knew. But the whole magnet situation. So at first I'm like, what's a big deal? It's just a magnet. You're going to shit it out. It's going to be fine. But as the toys,
when you eat more than one.
Right. As the toys evolved, the magnets became stronger, so the things clicked together or stuck together. And it wasn't about eating one. It was when you ate multiple, these high or super powerful magnets. What do magnets do? They attract each other. So imagine a really strong magnet in one part of your intestine, and then the other one's like close, but not super close. And they get close enough and they're like, hey, let's be friends. Snap, and pop through some vital things.
Who knows what it's going through?
I don't know. But I imagine that it was not fun. Yeah. So we have a couple things. It was Barbie and Tanner, which was, right, wasn't that the magnet toys, or was that the one they pooped out or something? No, that one had a magnet. So same thing, it would cause intestinal perforation or blockage, according to WebMD. And there was the Buckyballs.
Yeah, Buckyballs, which those are like, they're like a bunch of like teeny tiny little round magnets, and like the whole
like a Rubik's
idea,
cube, right?
Yeah, you can make blocks out of them, but then you can take them apart and then remake the, like, it's like you kind of like just
build
mush
shapes,
it around, build shapes, stuff like that. Something that I thought was really hilarious on the Consumer Product and Safety Commission website, it says it's illegal under federal law for any person to sell, offer for sale, manufacture, distribute, in commerce or import into the United States any buckyball or bucky cubes. But the thing that's also funny is I just Googled buckyballs, and buckyball.com, you can still order them, and Amazon has off-brand buckyballs. So
listen, if you're feeling wild
real
and crazy,
dangerous,
maybe don't eat more than one.
Yeah, if you want to break a federal law, that's an easy way to do it.
You could just buy them and admire them and play with them as they are intended to play with. Because all of these things, for the most part, I would say, if used with the intended rules, you're fine.
If you're not going to eat it, it's totally normal.
Not all of them.
Fine. Some of them.
Some of them. And then there was magnetics, which I don't know about. Those were in the 2000s. Same idea. Those. Same high intense magnets. And they had to recall 4 million kits. But it's still the same idea as like serious injury because people were eating the magnets, which I just don't know why you would do that. Like, I understand a little kid, but this wasn't just babies. This was like kids of various ages eating magnets. So maybe better parenting, I feel like, is the solution, but we can't have all of our hopes and dreams.
Yeah,
so that's all the magnets that stupid people ate. Clackers, I don't remember this, but I feel like this was in the 70s, and we still have a variation of clackers. Yeah. So clackers were essentially these two, they were like acrylic or plastic?
Yeah, some type of like a hard plastic, and it's on, like, you have a stick and they're on either side. So when you do
on a rope.
Sometimes on a rope, sometimes it was on a stick. And basically the idea is that, like, with a movement, they hit each other and it makes a
and it was hard to do. I remember having something similar. They were rubber, but like it wasn't like you just did it and they would work. It was like a momentum. You had to get good at it and practice.
Like a beat or something like that.
But when you were really good at clackers and they smacked together, what would happen, AJ?
They might break and shards of plastic might go everywhere.
Yeah, into people's eyes, into faces.
Yeah.
So immediately, so they were acrylic. They would crack and shatter into tiny shards. And it says, that could then fly into your face. I feel like they definitely flew into people's faces.
It's like shrapnel.
And eyes. Yes. And they were like, maybe we don't do that. And I feel like that's aggressive clacking. Maybe light clacking was with intended use.
Keep it on a 3 or 4. Don't go up to a 10, up to 11.
10 and 11 clacking means bad news. You might lose an eyeball. This next one
is one of my faves.
One of my Christmas wish list gifts that I never got, the Easy Bake Oven. Mom and Dad, I'm looking at you. Never got an Easy Bake Oven.
Come on.
Always wanted one.
Don't you want her to be a chef? A little chef on her own?
No.
They're like, no.
Absolutely not.
The last thing she needs.
She sucks at cooking. I'll let you take this one away since you love the Easy Bake Oven.
I love the Easy... I don't know. It's just so funny.
But you like to create and craft, and I feel like it is a thing that you would have liked.
And I like I'm not going to have kids, and I don't have kids, and I'm not interested in kids, but...
kids suck!
But I do appreciate the kids' toys, especially these days, when there's ones that are more of, like, the creative, like, you know, creating something, making, like, food or, like, a craft or
art,
something like that. Something that, like, is more of that kind of field. And, like, even, like, the science-y ones, like, you know, things that are promoting that kind of stuff instead of, like, I don't know.
Bounce this ball around
something
or
like
smack this thing with a stick.
So the Easy Bake Oven first hit store shelves in 1963 and sold about 500,000 units in the first year. This was a hot ticket toy.
For sure.
People wanted to be baking on their own. They loved it. So originally it used a light bulb to heat up the food, and it would get up to like 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Like
your oven.
Hot. Yeah, it was an oven. It needs to make like a little cake. So like it's just your oven on a smaller scale. It would have like a little opening in the front.
It was like a toaster oven, right? Like the original ones were like this, like a kind of idea of a toaster oven.
Yeah. So kids were burning themselves, and when you hear that, it's kind of like, oh, you burn your finger a little bit. No, these are like second to third degree.
You said 300 or 350. What was the temperature?
350.
350 is like, have you ever touched the oven like making a
on
cake
accident?
In real life?
Like if there's so many times and I'm like, God, AJ, wake up.
Hot.
You go to you open up the oven and you go to grab something and you're like, no, warm. warm, like go away from that. It's hot.
I remember, so I don't remember the 63 version, like what it visually, I remember like a vague look of a toaster oven, but I remember the ones later had it where it still had the light bulb, but it had like a little thing that you had to use to pull the trays in and out, so your hand couldn't actually go in it. At the beginning, it wasn't like that, right? It wasn't like that.
It was open.
Yeah.
And that was their like redesign, their kind of like hack where they're like, oh, people are burning themselves, we need to like do
Make
something
the
about this.
Smaller or whatever.
So they kind of like did just they gave you like a little slot that you would put into your Easy Bake Oven so that you had to use tongs to put in. Yeah, it was like a little mail slot that you would then put your little thing in, and then you can like take it out. But you know, I don't think many people used it, because then in 2007 they had to recall 985,000 Easy Bake Ovens because children were burning themselves.
Because they were probably grabbing the pan out still with their fingers, or you know.
Yeah, 16 of the 77 reported burns were second to third degree burns.
That's intense.
Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And
skin melty heat.
A 5-year-old had such bad burns on her finger that she had to get it amputated, partially amputated, which is like so insane. Like,
their fingers are also really little too. So like you imagine like burning your little tiny finger, that's like your whole finger.
More coverage. So they tried to retrofit it and it didn't really work. But the design now, like if you were to go buy an Easy Bake Oven now, it doesn't even look like an oven. It's like this weird kind of like jelly bean shaped main thing, and then it has 2 little mail slots on the side, and you use a pusher and you push it in and you let it sit there, and then you kind of get it out from the other side when the time.
So they've made it so you can't get
you
literally anything in it.
Like you probably like, I don't know if you could like you could probably still shove your fingers in there, but I think it's like the heat probably doesn't really start until like past how far
they've made it so it's like impossible to get your little hands in there to even possibly burn them. And at that point it's like user error. Yeah, because
then it's on you. But then I mean, they still error will still blame it on the company
for sure.
But also Easy Bake Oven. If you want some Easy Bake Oven content on YouTube, Trixie Mattel, she makes cakes. Like, she'll do videos where she just makes cake in these like vintage Easy Bake ovens,
old school
and
ones.
It's great.
Fun.
They don't always turn out the prettiest, but it's a good watch.
Real light bulb and all.
Yeah,
350 degree light bulb and all.
350 degree light bulbs.
We need to. You still have one, right?
Yeah.
We need to bring it out. We'll bring it out for a future episode.
Yeah, future episode. We'll make some teeny
We'll talk
tiny
about
cakes.
some relevant horror, spooky stuff, and then make irrelevant Easy Bake Oven treats on the side, because that just sounds
and they
fun.
like because they like teamed up. They did a partnership with Betty Crocker, like starting in 1969. I'm pretty sure it's still going on now. So like, even when I bought my Easy Bake Oven like a few years ago, like the boxes, like because you buy the oven and then you buy the mixes, and the type of like, I'm just like, it's not just cakes now. Now you're making brownies. And
I remember cakes. It was like a yellow cake and brownies.
Yeah,
is the only things I really remember it made.
There's a lot of different recipes. Yeah, cookies, like muffins, tons of stuff. And I'm like, dang, you could like live on this thing.
You could make tiny little cakes and breads that only require the powder and water.
Yeah,
it's like great. Magic.
Like what?
And probably diabetes. But listen,
worth it, because it came out of a
but it's
tiny
oven. Can't be that bad, right? As we have a plate of McDonald's chocolate chip cookies in front of us. The next one is fidget spinners, which I hate. They're so dumb. I don't understand.
Whoa! Hot take.
Whenever I see kids with fidget spinners, I just want to smack it out of their hands. But
they're doing tricks.
Are they though?
They're like they spin it, and then they throw it in the air and they catch it and it's still spinning. They spin it, they catch it on their foot, it's still spinning.
I feel like
they kick it up, they catch it on their tongue, still spinning.
I haven't seen any of that shit. I feel like you're lying. It says the It toy of 2017.
It was. Literally everyone had a fidget spinner. I never got one.
Me neither, because they're stupid. Stupid. So it says the plastic gizmos were also a choking hazard. So I guess the little the weighted thing in the spinner that like made it spin, you could pop them out.
It's basically just like what you put in your wheel, like
a ball bearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so it's just a bearing.
Yeah, people were eating them Shocker.
Stop eating things you shouldn't, please.
And it said the knockoff parts also contained parts. So essentially it was like a thing that even if you dropped it on the ground, like they could come apart, and they contained parts that were like choking hazard and yada, yada, yada. But they're stupid and nobody needs them. And I understand why they're on this list, but I was shocked. I was like, wow, people are
Oh my God.
dumb.
The
Yes, they
fidget
are.
spinner community is going to come at us so hard.
You know what? Come at me.
We're canceled now.
Come at
The
me.
fidget spinner coming for us.
I dare you. Hoverboards.
Also stupid.
Also stupid. But I can't really say that because I ride a one wheel, but a one wheel is far superior. One wheel is an outdoor activity, adventure, apparatus.
People were doing, the end of last year, I saw 2 children literally going down the street on their hoverboards, and I'm like, those are still cool? Are those still around?
So
I was so shocked. They were literally walking down the street with their parents, like shopping and stuff, and I'm like, what?
So the problem initially was, and I think this is in 2015 when they first came out, the battery-powered devices tended to burst into flames.
Yeah. I remember
highly problematic. But that was also it wasn't like it was just sitting there and burst into flames. It was usually like a charging situation or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of times people were like, they had it on the charger and
like
then all of a
3
sudden it
days
just
and it
burst
exploded.
into flames.
Super dangerous. Since then, they are still on the market. You can still get them. I tried one once. We were at Salt Lake Comic-Con and someone had one. We were in front of this fancy hotel and I was like, I have balance. Let me get on that thing. I kicked off my boots and we're in the in the front of the lobby, like where the cars would drive and drop off guests.
Oh
But it
yeah,
was
right
like,
next to traffic.
Yeah.
Perfect spot
it
to
was
try
in
it.
the parking lot. It was safe. And it was like 2 a.m, so there was no cars. So I get on it and I'm like, there's a video somewhere and I know I have it. See if I can find it. And I'm on it at the beginning. The hardest part is you have one foot on, is getting the other foot on to catch your balance. Once you have your balance, you're like, okay, I'm good. And I'm like going through, zipping around. And I'm pretty sure out loud I said like, this is so fun. This is easy. And then the video cuts off. But the video cuts off because I'm like about to eat shit. I caught myself. I didn't like hurt myself or anything. But I am terrified of those things. So when I got a one wheel, in the back of my mind, that situation, the one wheel is a very different type of balance. Hoverboard, exactly. I was like, I am face planting right now. But it's very different. And it's a lot safer. Still, obviously, and there's a danger element to it. So like I want to talk shit on hoverboards, but I can't really because I'm like hoverboard adjacent.
Yeah. There's me. I'm not even in the game. So
I still haven't gotten you to get on it. Every time you're here, I'm like, I have the one wheel. So you want to try? She's like,
and I'm
no.
like, nah.
No,
good.
bitch. Not doing it.
Nah, thanks. I would like to keep all my teeth.
I have mouth guards, I have helmets, I have pads. Like I could bubble boy wrap you up and then you'll be safe. We'll make a video of it when I finally convince you. One day.
Video never happens.
The next one you brought up and I'm like, I don't know what that is.
This
lawn
is
darts.
one of the lawn darts. Like this is definitely one of the ones where you're just like, who thought this was okay? It's literally just a dart, like a sharp thick needle with like that's weighted, and what you would do is it's kind of similar to like horseshoes or cornhole or something, but 100% dangerous, where you would place a little circle.
It's like a hula hoop, right? Or smaller than a hula hoop?
Yeah, very like smaller than a hula hoop, and you would take these and you'd throw them in the air and try to get it to stick into the ground,
like
in the circle,
like a dartboard,
yeah,
on the ground.
But on the ground and up. And the problem is people would, miss aim and it would go not in the ground, but in people.
A person. But they were also big.
Oh, they're very big.
They're like,
they're
I mean,
huge.
I don't know how exactly big they are, but they were, when I saw the picture, I was like, is that real? That looks like a hunting device, like something you would hunt with.
Which is funny that you say that, because the historical background of the lawn dart is that it's very similar to a plumbata, which originated in about 500 BCE and was used as a weapon by the military of ancient Rome. So
to hunt
if you
people
look,
or things or animals.
It's so funny because you look it up and it's like, oh yeah,
it's the
that's
same.
a very old timey version of a
looks
lawn
the
dart, and people would use it to like as a weapon.
Yeah. And now it's just like
battles.
pink and purple and yellow and
now
red,
it's
so
like
it's cute.
Cute colors, and it makes it a little bit better, right? No, not really, because there was a lot of injuries. This is another one that is banned. It was banned by the Consumer Product and Safety Commission in 1968. But it was more like they needed to put like a warning on it. This is not a toy and should not be played by children.
So you could still, they could still make it.
You could still get it. But the people were still dying. Or originally the game, like, it had a warning. But a 7-year-old girl died in a lawn dart accident, and her father, David Snow, like, made it his mission to get the game like outright banned. So in 1997, it was banned, and they like basically people were being told to destroy the game.
Yeah, so you could get in trouble for having them.
And like, if you look it up now, they still have them, but they're it doesn't have the spiky point on it. It's more just like a weighted ball on one side.
So it's not about getting it to like land
just to kind of land
in the
thing.
circle. Yeah.
From January 1978 to December 1996, lawn darts caused about 6,100 hospital emergency room treated injuries, with 81.
How many?
6,100 hospital visits, and which is insane. 81% of the victims were under 15 years old.
How many times does someone have to get hit with a giant dart to realize?
For someone to be like,
6,000 people?
Maybe we shouldn't sell these anymore.
Or maybe when we play the game, like, we all stand on this side and we throw the giant metal darts into an area where no people are. Like,
you would think, but I also wouldn't be surprised, because I know some kids are shits. They're probably like, oh, let's throw them at each other. That's so fun. Yeah. And I know you're like, oh, only one person died? No, lawn darts also claimed the lives of a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old. So that's at least 3 that I was able to find who were killed by lawn darts.
If this teaches you nothing, we all just need to be smarter. Just be smarter.
Whose idea was this?
I don't know. Another one was mini hammocks, and I don't remember mini hammocks, but I remember hammocks, and I remember falling out of them.
I feel like it was more like a chair situation.
Oh, yeah, because kids were like hanging themselves in them. And so that was a quick, like, it was in the 1980s, and so there was approximately 3 million mini hammocks in 1996 after the death, or they were basically recalled after the death of 12 children. So 12 children basically hung themselves in mini hammocks, which I'm assuming isn't like, it was unsupervised. They were in them and fell or slipped or whatever. Yeah. And
I mean, I have a hammock story. I mean, I don't know if I've told it on the show, but I was on a hammock and my dog jumped up onto the hammock and I went flying, and I went forehead first into a rock, and blood just went whoosh.
Hammocks are dangerous too. We had the one that was not the one you would put between trees, but it had like the metal rail. So it had the bar on it. And I can't tell you how many times we would like be playing on it and you would flip out and land on the metal bar, like your face or a body part or your ribs or whatever it was. And it freaking hurt. And we had that thing for a long time, and we still would try to get in it like something was going to be different the next time.
This time it's going to be fun and not dangerous.
Nope. It was not the case, and I'm pretty sure the thing like rusted to the point where like
then it's a different issue.
Yeah, then it's like tetanus situation where the doctor's involved, and then the hammock, the rope eventually got like disintegrated enough where we got rid of it, but like it hung in there for a while. I'm surprised after the first face plant, my parents weren't like, nope, let's get rid of it. They're like, we spent our hard-earned money on that hammock.
We're keeping it.
It's your face's fault. Be smarter.
Be smarter.
Polly Pocket with Quick Clip was another magnet situation. I think the faulty magnets were, so essentially it was like Polly Pocket, her clothes were, you could put them on with magnets, but the magnets were faulty and were falling out. And then of course, what do you do with the magnet on the floor? You eat it. And then
what are you going to leave it on the floor? That's a very good magnet.
10-second rule, you eat that magnet.
Worth it.
Rollerblade Barbie? Did you have Rollerblade Barbie?
I don't think I did.
I definitely didn't.
I remember like when I looked it up, because I'm like, Rollerblade Barbie, and I looked it up, I'm like, oh, I remember this, but I don't think I had one.
No, I'm jealous because I loved rollerblades and I loved Barbies.
Yeah.
But Rollerblade Barbie
She liked to set stuff on fire because it was basically like the same technology of a lighter in her thing. So as you would roll her on the ground, it would make sparks. Safe, right?
What could go wrong?
Just a little thing. In a news article from the Colorado Springs Gazette-Telegraph, this is quoting, "Last year, my 2 daughters received presents of 2 Rollerblade Barbie dolls by Mattel.
Yay,
Woo!
Rollerblade Barbie.
So much fun. On March 8th, my 8-year-old daughter was playing beauty shop with her 4-year-old brother. After spraying him with hairspray,
Yeah.
the children began to play with the boot of the Rollerblade Barbie. My little girl innocently ran the skate across her brother's bottom, which immediately ignited his clothing. So she lit that child on fire."
I thought they were like playing like a normal person. Let's play with the Barbie. No, she was like, I'm gonna rollerblade this on your ass
your butt
after I sprayed hairspray all over your body.
I don't know.
Or maybe
this is
it was
a weird household. I'm
it was
sorry.
probably like she sprayed it on his hair and it hairspray goes everywhere.
Goes everywhere.
Murder kids.
That's the thing. How do we know it wasn't premeditated?
Yeah, how old was this little sister? I don't know. I don't believe it.
8-year-old.
So we can see that Rollerblade Barbie was a little problematic.
A little bit.
And they decided that maybe we shouldn't give kids lighters to play with. I mean,
especially right after they play beauty shop.
Beauty shop. Yeah, I mean, makes sense to me, but I guess.
It all adds up.
Sky Dancers. This is one that I can say I had this one.
Had this.
And Sky Dancers was essentially like this fairy that you pulled a string, right?
She had arms that looked like
they were wings.
They were wings, but yeah.
They would go down, and then it was like a ripcord, right?
Yeah,
you pulled the string.
You'd put her in the thing, you would do the
Rip
cord, and she would just go flying, and she would spin, and her arms would go out, and it was
she
the
was
most
like
beautiful,
a helicopter.
magical, yeah.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
I had a blue one with glitter, I remember.
I feel like I had a teal one, but then I was looking at the photos of them, and I'm like, I don't remember which one I had.
I feel like I had multiple of these.
Great.
I loved them.
Yeah.
I feel like that came, there was like Ribbon Dancer, and then Ribbon Dancer was just a ribbon tied to a stick. You could have made one for $2 at your house, but instead we paid a lot more money for one in a package. But there was Ribbon Dancer, there were Sky Dancers, and the whole thing was like, it's a fairy, she flies, and she would like go really high, and if you pulled the cord, she went very high with force. So the issue was, if your face is over it,
you're pointing it towards somebody.
Yep, they were poking people's eyes out, they were breaking people's teeth,
I
they
remember
were cutting
it got
people.
Cut someone's hair, because she spins as you're doing it. I feel like I must have done it too close to someone's head or something, because for some reason I have this vivid image of it, someone's hair like being wrapped up in it up to the top,
and then having to try to unwind it and like having to cut people's hair out of it. So I mean, that one is probably, that was all in good fun, because there wasn't really like a whole lot of mechanical or chemicals or anything. It was just a projectile, essentially. And so there were after 150 reports of eye injuries, scratch corneas, broken teeth, facial lacerations, and even a mild concussion. They basically had to ground the Sky Dancers and say, no
Sky
more.
Dancer, you will not fly.
They recalled 8.9 million of them, but then they were so when I first read the article, I was like, they were re-released? How? But they were re-released in the form of a video game, because they were like, you kids can't be trusted, but we can put these digital Sky Dancers in this video game. It's not as fun. You won't crack your teeth.
It was so magical watching her up there in her element, living her best life, flying through the sky,
cracking front teeth, scratching corneas.
Hey, it's an art.
The next couple, Slip and Slide.
That's just, I did. I think that's more just people,
user error.
Yeah, you just get hurt. I mean, you're throwing yourself on the floor.
Right.
I just remember like people would be like, "Oh, you put vegetable oil on and you'd go faster." There was all those like little hacks to make it a little bit more dangerous, which makes it a little more fun.
Yep. We a Slip and Slide inspired my broken teeth situation. So we had a metal play set, like swing set in the backyard. So I had a metal slide, it had some swings, had monkey bars, had the little ladder on the side, and we had a slip and slide. I don't know what happened to it, if it ripped or whatever, someone took it. And then instead we'd make our own slip and slide, right? So we would get the hose and we would put the hose on the metal slide and we would go down in all sorts of face forward, backward. And it was like, it wasn't like a nice, like it was a slide. And so when we got bored of that, we would drape the hose down the slide and then we would, like we're climbing a mountain, use the hose to climb up the slide because what could go wrong?
Nothing.
Nothing, absolutely nothing. Until your bare feet slip on the metal slide, you fall, face plant, crack your 2 front teeth, fall down, and your 2 front teeth, because there's mud now, are broken in the ground, and you're fishing through a pile of mud to try to find your cracked teeth, which doesn't matter. They can't put them back on.
Yeah, what are they going to do? What are they going to put it on ice, and they're going to reinstall them?
I thought I was going to be in trouble, and if I at least had the teeth to
put
be
the
like,
teeth back in, and
the
be like,
dentist could fix them. So I was like, well, at least they can't get mad because it's not going to cost as much to glue them back on as it is to get. I mean, I was a child. I didn't know. So yeah, thanks, slip and slide. Screw you. But that was, again, I should have been smarter. And, also, where were my parents? Mom, Dad, no one was watching us. The next thing I think we both have, some of these are just silly, like tiny crossbows, toy guns, slingshots. Like, obviously, something can go wrong.
Yeah, like there was a toy gun that was sold in China that would emit 600 volts of electricity as you shot it, which it's compared to a standard electrical current in homes and businesses in China, which was 220 volts.
Oh.
So that is a bit of a step up, and you're just putting that in the hands of children.
So there's one, what's the one? It's called, they use former magic crystals. And it's like magic crystals. Ooh, that sounds fun. What's going to happen? AKA calcium carbide to launch ping pong balls. What's the problem, you ask? If you got water in there, it would explode. Whoop. So the magic crystals were a great idea. But then if you're like, oh, it's summertime, we're outside, we're wet, it would explode. So problematic. But some of these things, like the little mini crossbow that shot the toothpicks.
Who thought that was a good idea?
I think it's a great idea.
I was like, Matt, who put this in the hand? Matt was like, I would have loved one of those as a kid. I'm like, what?
I tried to order one for this episode. I legit was like, let's try it. You can get them, but they come from China, so it would have taken too long.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're like, it's just a little wooden toothpick. How much damage? It was piercing people's skins and their eyes and all sorts of stuff. So I think we can, let's do trampolines because I know we both have trampoline stories. And then we'll move on to what's in the coffin. Are you excited?
No.
You said you had a trampoline story, and I don't think I've heard this one.
So, yeah, we had a trampoline growing up, and I will say it was a lot of fun, and it's one of those things that, like, is probably good because you're a child, so, like, you're having fun, but then you're also kind of exercising and stuff like that.
They were kind of marketed as, like, you can play, but you're also exercising.
Yeah.
Gymnasts used to have them all the time. And
yeah. I was doing backflips, front flips. I was, like, I'm not athletic, but that was my time, was when I had that trampoline. Except
acrobatic
for
AJ.
When it was me, my dad, and my brother. We were jumping on the trampoline, and they decided that they would jump at the same time, and I must have been the lightest one because I just
bounce.
Yeah, I went flying, and I landed directly on my back, and I could still feel
was it grass?
No, concrete.
Oh my God.
Straight flat on concrete. The breath just completely I couldn't, you're trying
knock
to
the wind out of you.
Knock the wind out of me. It was awful. I thought I was going to die.
That's crazy. So we used to do, the double bounce was like goals. You go on with your friends and it was like you had to get it right to launch you. But usually the double bouncee was in the middle. Mm-hmm. The double bouncers were around. So when you would, chances of you flying off were less likely the closer you were to the center. But if they got a real good double bounce, all bets are off. You don't know which way you're going to go. And then you would try not to land on someone. I never had a trampoline situation. My little brother did. We were at a birthday party or something, and he was bouncing on the trampoline. And it was before they made the covers that covered the springs.
Because now they
have like they have like fabric that goes around them. He was bouncing on the trampoline. They were probably doing something stupid, and he got bounced, and his one leg went through the slot.
Goodbye.
He wasn't hurt. He just like went through, and he started crying because of the trauma of like going in, and then he was hanging off. His leg was stuck in there.
Yeah.
He ended up walking away and he was fine, but the problem was my mom saw it happening, and all she sees is her son dangling from the trampoline crying, thinking, oh my God, he broke his leg or, something. And she went to run after him. She didn't notice that where she was standing, it was a concrete ledge, probably the height a little higher than this table. So she went running, didn't see, it just looked like the ground was out front, and flew off face first, smacked her face,
God.
and she also cracked her 2 front teeth and broke them
And then
off.
she was searching for her teeth.
I don't think she didn't even know that she cracked her teeth. She just got up and went to go get my brother, and she turns around and everyone's like,
are you okay?
Blood everywhere.
Oh my God.
No front, like a hillbilly with, no offense to hillbillies, but she had no, I was once a hillbilly too, no front teeth, and it was like traumatic. And then my brother just gets off and he's like, what? I'm gonna go back on the trampoline.
Fine. I'm
like,
fine.
Crazy. So the amount of injuries to people that weren't even on the trampoline, they are so dangerous. So it said the bounce pads send about 90,000 people to the hospital per year, according to most recent data. So this is not even when they first came out. This is like to date. That's almost 100,000 people a year.
Yeah, the
go to the hospital.
trampoline is still waking up and choosing violence every day.
Every day.
I feel like now because before it was just the trampoline, but now I feel like you have to have the net.
Oh, they have the
around it.
net, yeah.
And I know there's like some type of like insurance thing where if you have like one at your house, your like your property insurance or whatever kind of goes up because there's a very good chance
you're one of the 90,000 people.
Yeah.
You're going to crack your front teeth, your leg's going to get stuck, you're going to get double bounced off that shit real far.
Yeah.
There's so many things we did. Cameron and I were talking. They used to light, this is not me, so I didn't do this. I was smarter than this. They used to light fireworks. Like they were basically like half sticks of dynamite, and they would throw them into the manhole like down the street. And it wasn't just a firework, because when it would explode, the manhole would physically pop out, meaning that's fucking dynamite.
That's a lot of force.
How did you guys even get that? I don't even understand. Mexico.
Back in the day, you could like, I remember like, you would have family parties and
Fireworks
stuff, and you just have you could get fireworks anywhere. Like I feel like you were able to buy them in the grocery store, but now it's like you kind of have to like go out of your way to find.
You can't get them in California; they're illegal in California. But you can go to plenty of other places and get them.
Yeah.
They also used to make a zip line. They would like tie rope from trees into the neighborhood, and so.
What are you, the Goonies?
They lived the Goonies. Like the stories he tells, they were the Goonies. They would make their own zip lines and go like across. They lived in a cul-de-sac, so it wasn't like a lot of street traffic, but still the shit that they did. And then they would tie firecrackers to the zip line and like shoot rockets across. Like sometimes I just wonder. I think, how was I alive? I look at you every day and I'm like, how are you alive?
Like even Matt, he doesn't like do crazy things, but I always make fun of him because him and his friends would have rock fights. They would literally just throw rocks at each other. And I'm like, one, how is that fun? Two, what?
Those kids ate magnets. I guarantee. Ask him. Say, did you or your friends ever eat the magnets?
Which one of you ate a magnet?
Someone ate a magnet in that group. We can literally go on for days on this topic, and I feel like we might need to do a part 2 to this because I have so many stories to tell, personal stories, and I'm sure there's going to be more dangerous toys that come out in the future that are like, did you not see the list of the 20?
Yeah.
Like, how did you not?
If you know a dangerous toy that we didn't talk about,
yes, tell us.
Contact us, comments, DM us, Instagram comment, I don't know, whatever. You send a carrier pigeon. Let us know. We also want to hear your story, like we have
dangerous stories?
Our dangerous stories.
We'll do some polls. We'll have to do some polls on this.
We want to hear your stories. I want to hear how you lost your 2 front teeth.
Please. If anyone's ever lost their 2 front teeth, I want your story. Maybe we'll do an episode on losing
and
we'll
just
teeth.
Share people's stories because that just sounds like so much fun.
So much fun. Especially when
it's not just me.
No.
I'm not the only idiot on this planet, so I know there's others.
When it's someone else's misfortune, it's way more fun to talk about. So with that, we're going to move on to the misfortune that is what's in the coffin, AJ's favorite. So we'll be right back. We are back for What's in the Coffin. We rock, paper, scissors. Rock, paper,
and I
scissors.
won.
I
and
lost.
Now she has to touch the worst.
I have to go
children's
first. Oh, so, okay. I was going to ask if it's... Wah! What is that? It's dusty. It's sand.
No.
It's pixie stick powder.
No.
It's a toy?
Not really.
You liar. It's not sand?
Mm-mm.
Baby powder.
No.
Garlic powder.
No.
I mean, it feels like a powdery substance.
It is.
What do you do with it? It's not
Lots
a children's
of stuff.
toy. Lots of stuff. It's salt.
No.
Sugar.
No. You don't eat it. I mean, you
don't
could eat it,
eat
but you
it.
shouldn't eat it. It
It
causes lots of like cornea scratches. It gets everywhere.
glitter.
Yeah.
Why the fuck would you put glitter in the coffin?
Why wouldn't I?
What kind of glitter? Oh, it's pretty. It's green
It's
glitter.
green,
I hate, what do I do
holographic.
with my hand now?
And now it's going to be everywhere. Where I have
It feels fun.
Just
Like
to
it
play
feels
with.
nice, but it didn't feel like it's like a nice glitter. Is that like a good craft glitter?
Yeah, it's a good
because
craft
it's not
glitter.
it's not
It's not chunky.
Hold on.
Evil.
I'm gonna open the door and no, that's not gonna help. Glitter is like
the herpes of the craft world.
it is absolutely herpes. So time out for me.
TBD.
It's really pretty. Your turn. You're up, ma'am. Also within the theme. That's all
Oh.
I'll say. Not that. Why am I giving you hints? Like you don't need hints.
You're gonna be super excited.
Yeah.
This is hard with two hands. Hello?
Do you want me to hold your mic? Oh, it's on. Sorry, it's low because the thing has glitter on it, so you have to reach for it.
What just happened?
It's like your dreams come true, right?
Yes. Side note: I've had these in this.
Just do one at a time.
Yeah.
Oh, I open it.
Yes.
Okay.
There's two items.
Because I thought
You're a professional at this.
but the thing is I thought I felt something fall out. And I thought I
No, I
heard
think you just
something.
dropped one.
Just drop one. There's two.
So what is it?
I haven't opened it yet.
Oh, okay.
Give
But
me a second.
But what are you doing? Like, what is
Oh,
the
it's-
thing?
It must be a blind box, a blind
Yes.
bag of some sort.
This is in your wheelhouse. So I was like, this is nice. It's a nice one, but if she can get it, I don't know because it's a little obscure.
Is it a gremlin?
They're horror related.
Is it a gremlin?
Hold on. It could be a multitude of options. I don't know which one you got. Let me look.
There's like ears that kind of feel like gremlin-y. But then there's also this. That wouldn't be a gremlin. Is it a ghoulie?
It's not a ghoulie.
Oh, no, they don't make products for that trash movie. No, I love it.
I
No, I
what
love
are you
it.
talking about? The one right here?
No, I love it, but I'm just saying.
But that's a good guess. But it's
That's like a little.
One to get, right?
I know because it's actually not on the package. I just looked.
All right, well,
It's
gotta chase!
It's a seasonal.
later, so go for the next one.
Okay.
We gotta chase.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like it's a weird one to try to name off.
Yeah. I almost picked up the package to be like, oh, let me look
This
at which.
one also has little ears. Little gremlin ears.
Ding ding ding. You got that one.
Ooh,
Gizzy? The one with the mohawk.
Stripe.
What?
Stripe.
Stripe, that's
Yes,
what it is.
you
I was
got
going
that
to say
one.
Scar, but that's from...
That's funny that both of the ones that you got.
Off on that one, I was like, wow, that is...
The little
Okay,
ears totally
I feel like
give it away.
can I give her
Yeah,
one?
Bring him out.
Oh, the other one would be kind of
What is
impossible.
Because he has little horns on top, too.
You were good with seasonal.
It's seasonal. Try to
Is
guess
it
it.
him as like a reindeer?
No, but you're on the right track. You're so close. Reindeer adjacent.
Reindeer
Seasonal,
seasonal.
scary.
Krampus?
Yes.
Oh, that's fun.
That's a weird...
Ding ding ding. It is right.
Oh, yeah.
But he's like how cute he is.
It's like a Baphomet. Like, no,
Yeah,
it's a
it looks a little
Krampus.
gross.
Yeah,
No, it's
it-
Krampus because he has the basket on his
Yeah,
back.
yeah. There's more, so we'll save some to do later.
Oh,
But
Carrie.
she didn't know what you love blind bags or blind
do.
boxes, but no context. And she's like, is it a gremlin? And I'm like, how?
You could feel their little ears. Their ears are very distinct.
So that was fun. Good job. You continue to uphold the record of.
Oh, he's so cute.
He's really cute.
Come and steal your kids and
they're so tiny. So this is the Funko Pint-Size Heroes, the horror collection. I don't know if these are still currently made.
These are cute.
I got these ones on Amazon, so you can still get them, but I don't know if they still make more in this series. So with that, this was a super fun episode.
This was fun.
We're gonna revisit.
Part 2. Yeah, if you look, he has like a kid in the basket.
Yeah, I legit was about to lift it up and be like, oh, which one is it? But then you would have known. But he's not on this package.
He must be a chase.
Yeah,
then.
he's special.
Okay.
Especial. So thanks for joining us, Fiends, for another episode of Let's Get Spooky. If you want to watch or see more, you can go to letsgetspooky.com, and don't forget to
Stay spooky.
Bye.
Watch out, Krampus is coming.